Story 1. Abandoned Hospital. In a small, quiet town, there stood an old hospital. It was no ordinary hospital. It had a dark history. Long ago, it was a place where the sick came for help. But many left in agony, their suffering made worse by the cruelty of the staff. Over the years, the hospital was abandoned, left to crumble in silence. Our story begins with Shira, a curious journalist always looking for a good story. She had heard whispers about the hospital and decided to investigate. Her friend Mark was skeptical, but he agreed to accompany her. With flashlights in hand, Shira and Mark entered the hospital. The air inside was cold and musty. Old hospital beds and broken equipment lay scattered around, relics of a past long gone. They started searching for clues. As they explored, strange things began to happen. Whispers echoed through the empty corridors, and shadowy figures darted in and out of sight. Goosebumps formed on their arms as they felt an eerie presence. Digging through old records, Shira uncovered stories of mistreatment and neglect. Patients had been subjected to cruel experiments, and their suffering had never been acknowledged. The paranormal activity intensified. Shira and Mark saw apparitions of tormented souls, and strange voices filled their heads. The ghosts seemed angry, seeking revenge for the pain they endured. Frightened and desperate, Shira and Mark sought help from a local expert in the supernatural. With trembling hands, they described their experiences and asked for guidance. Under the expert's guidance, they conducted a seance. In a dimly lit room, they held hands and called out to the spirits. The air grew heavy, and the room filled with whispers. The spirits revealed their stories of torment and betrayal. Shira and Mark resolved to find a way to make amends for the hospital's dark past, even if it meant confronting those responsible, no matter how long dead they were. Their journey led to a terrifying encounter with the most malevolent spirit. A fierce battle ensued, testing their courage and determination. The outcome would decide the fate of the haunted hospital. When the dust settled, an eerie calm replaced the previous chaos. The spirits had found peace, and the hospital no longer felt malevolent. The horror had ended, or so it seemed. As Shira and Mark left, they couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. A shocking revelation awaited them, leaving them with more questions than answers. Shira couldn't help but reflect on their ordeal. She realized that not all stories have neat endings, and some mysteries may never be fully understood. The town slowly forgot the hospital's dark history, and life went on. But Shira and Mark remained haunted by the memories of their encounter. The hospital may have found peace, but the horror remained etched in Shira and Mark's minds. The past had a way of lingering, and the story of the disturbing hospital horror would never truly end. Story 2. Whispers from the Cursed Ward. In a forgotten corner of the city, there stood an old and abandoned hospital. Its decaying walls and broken windows gave it an eerie presence. The hospital was known to be built on land cursed by a vengeful spirit. Our story begins with a curious investigator who, driven by a fascination with the paranormal, decided to explore the history of this sinister place. As the investigator approached the hospital's looming facade, the unsettling atmosphere was undeniable, and the chilling tales of the hospital's past filled the air. The investigator's arrival at the forsaken hospital was a solemn affair. The once bustling entrance now echoed with a haunting silence. Inside, the dim, flickering lights cast long shadows, and the scent of decay hung heavy in the air. The investigator was accompanied only by their own heartbeat, echoing like a drum in the empty corridors. It was clear that this place held dark secrets and an unsettling past that was impossible to ignore. Undeterred by the ominous aura of the hospital, the investigator delved into the building's history. They scoured dusty records, ancient documents, and yellowed newspaper clippings. Among these materials, tales of the cursed land and vengeful spirits began to emerge. But it was an old, tattered journal found hidden in a long-forgotten drawer that held the most disturbing accounts. The journal told of unexplained deaths, ghostly apparitions, and a pervasive sense of dread that had plagued the hospital for generations. As the investigator continued their exploration, their first eerie encounter with a supernatural entity sent shivers down their spine. The air turned frigid, and a shadowy figure appeared before them, its eyes filled with an otherworldly malevolence. This was the vengeful spirit that had long tormented the hospital. Its presence was undeniable, and its intentions seemed far from benign. The investigators' journey into the heart of darkness had truly begun, and they were soon to understand that the haunting of the cursed hospital was very real. After the chilling encounter with the vengeful spirit, the investigators' nights became a torment of vivid nightmares. They would wake, drenched in cold sweat, to the sound of eerie whispers that seemed to linger even in their waking hours. Ghostly apparitions of long-deceased patients and staff roamed the hospital's corridors, their hollow eyes fixed on the investigator. Friends and family grew increasingly concerned as they witnessed the toll this supernatural encounter was taking on the investigator's mental and physical well-being. The hospital's paranormal activity continued to escalate, becoming more sinister by the day. Unexplained phenomena plagued the investigator. Objects moved of their own accord, voices echoed from empty rooms, and the very walls seemed to breathe with a malevolent presence. The investigator's determination to uncover the truth and put the vengeful spirit to rest only grew stronger, even as the line between the living and the dead blurred within the hospital's walls. The vengeful spirit's malevolent intent became increasingly apparent as clues were pieced together. An old, blood-stained diary uncovered a heartbreaking tragedy that had unfolded within the hospital's walls, fueling the spirit's anger and thirst for vengeance. It was a tragedy left unresolved, a dark secret hidden for decades. The investigator realized that they had ventured into a place of unspeakable horrors, where the past had bled into the present, and the vengeful spirit's wrath had become their inescapable reality. The investigators' relentless pursuit of the truth led to a climactic showdown with the vengeful spirit. In the heart of the cursed hospital, they faced the entity head-on, determined to unveil the secrets that bound it to the earthly realm. The battle was fierce and harrowing, with the hospital's dark secrets unraveling as the confrontation reached its zenith. The investigators' strength waned, and the malevolent spirit's fury intensified. In the end, the investigator managed a narrow escape, but not without wounds that ran deeper than any physical injury. As the investigator nursed their physical wounds, the relentless spirit continued its torment. Desperation set in, and the investigator embarked on a quest to find a way to banish the vengeful spirit and break the curse that had held the hospital in its icy grip for so long. Clues led to the revelation of the curse's origin, and the investigator knew that their journey was far from over. The curse, it seemed, was deeply entwined with the land and the suffering that had occurred on it. A plan was hatched to end the curse and free the hospital from the grip of the vengeful spirit. Allies rallied to support the investigator in this desperate endeavor, for the haunting had not only touched their life, but had also sparked a sense of shared responsibility. Together, they devised a risky ritual to exorcise the spirit, knowing that their actions might either bring salvation or plunge them further into the abyss of the supernatural. The time had come for the climactic battle to break the curse that had plagued the cursed hospital for generations. The investigator, their allies by their side, faced the vengeful spirit in a harrowing showdown. The spirit's fury raged, and the hospital itself seemed to rebel against their intrusion, but the investigators' courage and determination held strong. As the battle reached its climax, the hospital's darkest secrets were unearthed. The resolution of the haunting, however, came at a great cost, both in terms of their physical well-being and their understanding of the malevolent spirit's tragic history. With the curse finally broken, the hospital underwent a transformation. The oppressive darkness that had long pervaded its halls began to recede. The investigator, wounded and wearied, emerged from the hospital to find the outside world changed. The sun shone brighter, and the air was lighter, free from the heavy presence of the malevolent spirit. However, the investigator's injuries, both physical and emotional, were not easily healed. The haunted memories of their ordeal would forever linger, haunting their dreams and casting a shadow over their life. As time passed, the investigator contemplated the disturbing history of the cursed hospital. The horrors they had faced and the malevolent spirit they had encountered left an indelible mark on their soul. The haunting of the cursed hospital was over, but its chilling story was one that would continue to send shivers down the spines of those who heard it. The investigator couldn't help but wonder if some curses, some vengeful spirits, could never truly be put to rest. In a final twist, a revelation came to light. A message left behind in the aftermath of the ritual hinted at the possibility that the curse might have found a new vessel, one that was unsuspecting and vulnerable. A sense of uncertainty loomed, leaving the investigator and their allies questioning whether the malevolent spirit had truly been banished or if it had merely taken on a new insidious form. The story of the cursed hospital served as a chilling reminder of the enduring power of curses and vengeful spirits. The investigator had embarked on a journey into the heart of darkness, seeking answers and closure. But what they found was a world where the line between the living and the dead was perilously thin. The lingering sense of dread and the unknown was a testament to the fact that some horrors could never truly be explained or eradicated, leaving a haunting presence in the memories of all who encountered them. Story 3: Mad Doctor. In a gloomy, long-forgotten hospital, a curious journalist embarked on a journey filled with fear. This hospital, shrouded in darkness and mystery, stood as a chilling relic of a time long past. Our journalist, driven by an unquenchable thirst for truth, couldn't resist the allure of its ominous history. The shadows that clung to the walls seemed to whisper secrets, beckoning them into the unknown. This hospital, now an eerie husk, once housed a mad doctor of great renown. In the beginning, this doctor was celebrated for their genius in the world of science. Yet whispers in the town hinted at a darker side to this brilliance, a sinister obsession with experiments that pushed the boundaries of ethics. The doctor's experiments began to stretch the limits of morality and reason, casting a malevolent shadow over their once stellar reputation. Our determined protagonist was drawn to the hospital, thirsting to uncover the truth about this mad doctor's deeds. Armed with a torch and a heart full of courage, they set out to sift through the shrouded past. Old documents, local legends, and whispers of ghostly encounters became their guides in this dark and chilling pursuit. As they ventured deeper into the abandoned hospital, unsettling occurrences began to haunt our protagonist. Mysterious whispers echoed in the empty corridors, and ghostly apparitions seemed to beg for release from their tortured existence. Hidden diaries concealed within dusty drawers revealed the horrors of the mad doctor's experiments, describing the pain and suffering of the patients who had once called this hospital home. Each step forward into the hospital became a heart-pounding encounter with the supernatural. The malevolent spirit of the mad doctor grew more threatening with each passing moment, and the investigator felt the icy grip of his presence tightening. As fear mounted, they found themselves pursued by restless souls seeking vengeance for the injustices they had suffered. The investigators' journey led them to a hidden chamber within the hospital, the doctor's macabre laboratory. Inside, they encountered a grotesque tableau of horrors, the remains of the doctor's inhuman experiments. Amidst the horrifying discoveries, they stumbled upon an unfinished, sinister plan that defied the laws of nature itself. With unwavering determination, the investigator resolved to put an end to the doctor's malevolent legacy. A spine-chilling confrontation unfolded as the vengeful spirit of the mad doctor unleashed his wrath. The climax of our story reached a fevered pitch as the investigator battled the supernatural force that had tormented the hospital for so long. As the investigator emerged victorious, they uncovered the twisted motivations behind the doctor's madness and cruelty. The doctor's insatiable desire for knowledge and power had driven them to commit unspeakable acts. The revelation of a horrifying experiment that challenged the very fabric of reality left a lingering sense of dread. With a sigh of relief, our protagonists narrowly escaped the hospital's sinister clutches. Though they left the darkness behind, a sense of unease remained, a haunting reminder that some horrors can never truly be erased. In conclusion, this chilling tale of the hospital's disturbing history leaves us with a lasting shiver of dread. The unsettling legacy of the mad doctor lives on, a reminder that unchecked ambition and the corrupting influence of power can turn even the brightest minds to the darkest of deeds.